What's happening? This is the Tap In Podcast. We are live inside of the Tap In studio. Man, I got a special guest that's in the building. So I went to this, I don't know if it's called like it's just a meeting of creative minds musically, right? It's called Auxiliary Chronicles, hosted by Dirt Beats. And this one dude was just sitting in the back, real humble, real chill. And then it was a time for him to play his music, right? Nobody wanted to step up first. Nobody wanted to play their music first. He was like, shoot, I don't care. I'll go first. I'll play mine. And when I tell you he lit the whole fucking room up, everybody was like, God damn. Mr. Doe Cigapom in the building, man. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. It is a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Man, when I tell you your music, when I heard it, was refreshing. It was refreshing to me, man. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me, man, what's been your musical journey like, man? When did you even start rapping? Let's start there.
I started late. I wasn't one of those rapping at 5 or 13 or 12 or, I come from a city where we play go-go. So if it wasn't about go-go music when I was coming up, you was considered what we call a Bama. So, or a yo boy, because you like to rap. And I always liked to rap, but I always liked to rap my rappers, like my favorite rappers as a kid growing up, their music. I didn't know anything about rap. I got into, I forgot the teacher, but I guess he and she struck my idea of poetry. And one of my favorite poems styles, as far as reading, not necessarily writing, was haikus.
Okay.
But then I just started getting into it a little bit more. I never really said it, but this kind of hit because I kind of remember the movie Mo Better Blues.
Yeah.
When the dude was like, music can be poetry if you learn how to, analyze everything around you. So I just got into poetry, started writing it on the low. I wasn't showing it around the brothers in the hood or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll go home and write these little poems. And I actually wrote a whole poem one day, and my buddy, Boye, we call him the banker, back home, was like, yeah, man, you can rap. And the only reason why he said that is because I can play instruments, but the band that I was playing in growing up, I will sometimes switch around, and one of the other leads, singers or the talkers of the go-go band will get on the instruments, and I'll go up and rap. And he was like, I know you can rap. And I'm sitting there like, fuck out of here, man. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm only thinking about band practice, or I had a clothing store making clothes at one time. So I mean, like, I'm always just thinking about that.
Yeah.
And he came over one day, was like, yeah, nigga, rap. He rapped that, and I rapped it out. And
what was he talking about? Your poem?
Yeah, and I realized that I actually wrote a rap. So after that, I just got into a guy named Lavelle, we call Face. He used to have all these keyboards and stuff to make beats. So that struck my mind when I went to his house, because I already know how to play instruments. Percussions at that, all drums. And so I went to the house, made these little Casio beats, I call them back then, with that technology. But that struck another idea into me. And then I just started writing more. Wasn't performing anywhere, just writing the music, instrumentals, until I got the chance to actually record. And when I recorded my first actual songs, and let people that didn't know me but knew me but didn't know sides of me, and they didn't even believe that it was me rapping back then. So I was like, okay, this is something that's I'm gonna do. But the journey was was rough, because I was talking about a lot of pain and hate for the life that I grew up in. I was angry at God, and so a lot of my music was very dark.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was very dark. But I just, start analyzing and using everything around me as I start growing with music.
And what year is this? What year are we talking?
First time I recorded a song was probably like 2004 or 5.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
probably like 2004 or 5.
So that's like 18 years.
Well, yeah, now. But I was 21.
Shit.
So like I said, I started late 20, but 2021, and I started late. But the journey, it's still a journey now. You know what I mean? Not everybody knows. Not too many people know me. Not a million people. You know what I mean? So still have a journey, but I didn't get that big chance until I moved to Texas from DC.
Really?
Yeah.
And this is why I get frustrated with industry shit, right? Because somebody with your talent level should have already at least been doing this full time, making records, you know what I mean, performing. Somebody with your talent level should have already been doing that, right? But you're not. Or at least I don't know if you on that level where you sign with the record label or
no.
See,
I had a chance, but I didn't know anything. This is right before I met my wife at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was when you have people that know people, and having a chance to go up to New York, and I just it didn't feel right back then. Even as a youngin', my spirit just didn't feel right. What was in that vicinity, so I didn't do it. But I did rap, and but I also had a part played where the fact that I'm from the DC area, you know what I'm saying, and people, oh, y'all do go, oh, yeah, this nigga ain't gonna rap. So I get that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely got that, but I also get that. I mean, I had people tell me I'm not from DC because of the way I rap. Because there is a certain style of DC, but it's so old. Nobody got a chance to really hear DC except for maybe in the early 2000s, way before Wale, when like Section 8 Mob had a video with I forgot the old who's the guy that played in was that the guy on Lean on Me?
Who? Joe Clark?
Yeah, I think he was in the video with Section 8 Mob. It's an actor that's in the movie with Section 8 Mob in Washington, D.C. shooting the video.
That's Morgan Freeman.
I think that is Morgan Freeman in this video. I have to look it up to clarify it, but that was the only time I had. And my uncle, Black Indian, because he had a video called Size 'Em Up on BET. And, so he used to see me as a kid, always out Northeast, because I used to, make clothes for other people as well. And he was really one of the first people besides Boye to I know what you've been doing because you ain't been showing yourself. You need to go ahead and rap. But he was the first person in DC that we seen on TV be on TV rapping. And like I said, we come from a go-go city, so to see somebody rapping and wearing our culture clothes, because we have clothing lines out there that people, you never heard of Madness or Shooters or City Life or Hobo clothing, right? So that's what I'm saying. We have our own clothing lines, and which you see a lot of people making clothes now.
Yeah,
that come from us. But anyway,
the first time I ever heard go-go was EU
doing the
butt.
Yeah, that's
the first time I heard of go-go, and I didn't even know what exactly it was. I was just thinking it was part of a soundtrack.
Going to the Go. Oh, and then I think a movie
with Spike Lee movie. It was School Days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it surely was.
Yeah, School Days. That's the first time I heard go-go, but I didn't know that it actually had a name. You know what I mean? I didn't know it had a name until later on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And okay. So, and you said DC got a style of rapping,
Oh yeah, it was all for real. If the best perspective of it for me, I can give it. It was almost a northern Scarface, Texas type of style back in the day when people was rapping. But then there's a certain type of style where people we call it rapping in a pocket of a beat, because a rapper for go-go would just rap to that tempo or that beat and not necessarily worried about being lyrical or, you know what I mean, switching up the bars and the formats of the bars, not just rapping, you know what I mean, inline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a type of style. But, I mean, it's no different than styles of people from Houston or Memphis or, you know what I mean? Everybody got their own style. But, yeah, it was a style of rapping, certain type of rapping when it came to go-go. And, you know, for that, you know, it was okay. People like Fat Rodney, Tony Blunt, that's from D.C., these are the people that I grew up on listening to rap, even though Fat Tony was in the Rayful Edmonds days. I was very young, you know what I'm saying? But Tony Blunt was a rapper in my generation that was rapping with the go-go bands that I grew up listening to, Backyard, majority of the times in the early 90s. And, yeah, he was sick with it, like just off top. He was one, you know what I'm saying? So, and then Los from Backyard, he go off top, you know what I'm saying? So, but otherwise than that, it still wasn't glorified. I mean, rap wasn't even still glorified in a good way even when Wale got noticed. You know what I'm saying? It was not from where I'm from, but outside.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
you know
because
I mean? Outside, everybody, you know, from especially in California, like every time I went to California, they play Wale.
Yeah,
like I didn't think it was, man. Yeah, and I understand that's like I believe that's probably a lot of his core-based fans, like it's in the West Coast, cause and in Florida areas and all of that. But yeah, I was surprised to.
Wale is slept on to me, man. Wale, to me, he's slept on as an artist.
Yeah, he's nice. But if you listen to his old music, he would give you a little bit of that style that I was talking about. The go-go pocket flow type, instead of rapping in hip hop.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of that, because he got a song that has go-go music behind it, and I forgot the name of the song, but that's what got him noticed in DC. When he was rapping to a go-go beat, they chopped it up and made it into a kind of like a rap beat.
Put that mic to you, real quick.
They chopped it up and made it up into like a rap song, but it was go-go. And that's what got him noticed, but it has that type of DC pocket flow where people was the way that we rap. But outside of that now, yeah, I've actually heard some music, and I've, you know, especially I like his Ambition album. One of my family members, my Dominican brothers, made a beat for him on there. Ricky, and I think some other producers helped him, but Double M Genius.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got that instrumental.
Okay.
But yeah, he I mean, like I said, it's a lot of other artists though that's been putting in work for years that a lot of people do know. It's just more of the overseas.
Do you incorporate go-go in your music?
I just started doing it with one of the songs you heard last time. And I'll probably play it again this Thursday. But yeah, I'm just starting to, which was crazy because a guy that did that beat, I think he's originally from Memphis, but lived here in Dallas. And he grew up listening to go-go. But when people get go-go, I don't know, it's kind of like where people are from, there are certain staples that people mention. And you be like, it's kind of like you from LA, so everybody, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'll talk to you outside it, but I understand the knowledge of, you feel me? So most time, you from LA, so what you know? And you're like, damn, that is not every motherfucker, even though I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, oh, you from these, so y'all do the go-go, or they'll say, the White House, and I'm like,
what's the White House?
A place that has a crack house behind it. That's what we say.
The White House.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, the White House is literally in front of a main street, but it's damn near behind a hood. Like, yeah, Congress Heights is not too far from here, bruh. Like, Potomac Gardens is not too far from the White House. And they still have crack over there. Like, what do you... You know what I mean? And then that's the thing, when people talk about where I'm from, that's what all they mention. I'm like, if y'all only see the hoods that they don't show you, or the ones you think is not no hoods because you see white people walking here and there, wait till nighttime.
Yeah.
Because, the white folks are trying to push us out. You know what I'm saying? I call it Washington, D.C. now. Like, it's not chocolate. It's not chocolate city no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And my wife would tell you that. Because when I used to go around there, I lived in D.C. and Maryland. And my father's from D.C. But when I started seeing people that did not grow up on any of those blocks, on my cousin's blocks, or they walking their dog, and my wife was seeing this herself, and they'll stop and look at you like, what are you doing here? And then continue walking their dog. I was like, oh yeah, it's getting real.
Yeah.
And then after that, this neighborhood fell down because they about to gentrify this one. And even another one I just found out where on Uptown, one of the main hoods, 640, is now being shut down. They starting to destroy the buildings already.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like that everywhere though. There's no difference from St. Louis. There's no difference from Compton. There's no difference from, you know what I'm saying, from the Watts. There's no difference from Florida. It happens in every area. Right. And you know what I'm saying? And what I learned, gentrification, it is a racial thing, but what people don't know, there's white neighborhoods that's being gentrified too.
Yeah, I mean,
because I had to learn that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's business.
To rich white people business. Don't give a fuck about lower or middle class white people. Yeah. Like I've seen it. Like, yeah, it's I've business. Seen it. You know what I'm saying?
It's green. But it ain't white and black. It's about green. Yeah,
it's crazy. But I mean, like I said, I love where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? It made me who I am. But just musically, I had a lot of fun and blessings here in Texas. The minute I moved here, it was a hell of a journey. I had some crazy stories going on.
Share.
Just being on tour. Actually, shout out to my wife, because when I first moved here, I was so stuck into my mind state of where I'm from. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't even take people looking at me because they like my outfit. Like, because where I'm from is, we about to square up. You gonna catch something. Like, and that's just what it was. Like, I had to honestly sit there and say, to a certain point, Texas done took my guard down. Man, because I done been to some of the, like I tell you straight up, a lot of people know, like a lot of the rappers is out here, from my boy Rock Kim, or a lot of rapper people from Oak Cliff. When I was living in Dallas, oh man, you'll catch me in Oak Cliff anytime, or in the Grove, and people call me honorary Dallas nigga. You know what I mean? Because I do. I love Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But this is where I kind of like made my home.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in D.C., man?
Hell.
Like literally?
It was like Bloods and Crips, but no colors.
Man, I remember seeing in high school, you remember the videos they used to do, I think it was called like bum fights or something like that, them DVDs they used to have. I remember seeing where it was in D.C. where people was getting beat up and jumped, and it was like right across the street like you talking about from the White House, and I was like, oh hell nah, DC is crazy. I can generalize it, but I can only I grew up in a house where I was cooking crack at 6 years old. You was?
Yes, sir.
God.
That's what my father was showing us. My older brother was 4 years older than me, so I believe he was doing it. I've actually seen him, but I know there was probably times he was doing it, before me. There was a lot of physical, like bloody abuse in my home, but on the outside, there was a lot of drug use. Like I said, I actually just started rapping about more in detail into it. Some of the new songs, as far as like going to school with the same outfit, with some of that residue smell on you. Teachers finding crumbs in your backpack. And you know what I mean? Like, oh, these ain't crackers, motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Waking up the next day in the car because your parents are smoked out off of PCP or coke, and you going right back to school in that same outfit. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of murders, experienced those with my dad. Also, now that I'm older, I'm starting to learn that was a way of how the rich white folks that don't care about us, but they build these areas for us to live in, knew a science to learn how to desensitize black people. Because when it happened, he would just, cover my eyes and like, oh, come on, you be all right. And no, the fuck I'm not. But I played like I was all right for at least a good 20-something years.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just very negative in my lifestyle. But the only peace I guess I had growing up was my great grandmother, my abuela, and my father's mother, my grandmother. Because I had a great grandmother and her mother and my grandmother. So that was the only little bit of peace I kind of like had. My aunt, of course, rest her soul, all of them. But
did you ever dabble into the streets?
Yeah.
How so? In what capacity?
Allegedly, hypothetically. Everything that I'm not proud about, everything I'm not proud of, everything that I speak on through my music without telling on myself. But it's the typical cliche. Do I know how the recoil feels to certain hands when you pop one? Of course.
Do you know? Say that again.
The recoil.
Okay.
The pop back.
Okay.
Do I know about cold sweats when you don't know if that person got hit or not? Yeah. Do I know about really coming up and taking care of things financially? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Like I said, I had a clothing store by the time I was 13 years old.
How are you doing all this shit so young? Like,
that's the lifestyle. Most kids, and that's the thing. Like, even I can compare us to like a Southern New York, because by the time you're 6 and 7, growing up in DC, or you in the hood areas of PG County, where you can literally walk across the street and be in DC, kids are already catching the bus by 6 and 7 years old, and I'm talking about the metro to get to school. Like a rack of kids on that borderline will catch buses, Maryland or Metro, because there's no such thing as a Maryland or DC bus. It's only Metro, and then you have county buses that's outside, way far. But outside of that, yeah, it's kids. My wife would tell you she used to catch the bus, and you would see a kid on there with the ticket and everything, knowing where to go, how far. Yeah, it's kids coming from Maryland going into DC. Even when I was teaching, I used to teach music in Southeast. A lot of my kids went to school in DC, but still had to catch more buses to get to the after school program in DC.
It wasn't like close by or nearby.
Some of them, but
okay.
Majority, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a life of independency on your own, basically. Like I said, kids is already catching the bus at 6 and 7. By the time I was 6, I wasn't just cooking that, but I was also, I think I had a gift of seeing something and then going and doing it. So, like, my first thing I learned how to cook was a bologna, egg, and cheese sandwich, just by watching, because nobody taught me how to cook. It's just my bigger brother, oldest brother, was in the house. He didn't give a fuck what's going on in the house, and I'm like, oh, this is my chance to do it, and I did it. After that, I started cooking. But my grandmother, I used to sit and watch her. She'll make me sit and watch. That's how I learned how to cook, though. So it was just a life of independency for a lot of kids in our lifetime, and our generation growing up. Even still now, though, it's still now going on the same thing. Like I said, you not a lot now, but back then, yeah, you can see a 6, 7, 8-year-old kid in DC with a pistol, some coke, and fly than your father. That's like crazy. More fresher clothes than some of these rich folks out there. Like, yeah. But they'll pop your damn brains quick.
God damn.
So, now that gentrification is going through, it's still not stopping, because, now we have a thing where it's a lot of kids getting shot by random bullets now in DC. That's been going on for the past, 6, 7 years now. But that's why I try to tell people, imagine living in a city with gangs, but it ain't no colors. And that's why I said no disrespect. I know that because I have a sister that was involved. You know what I'm saying? My places was definitely involved. She showed me the game. You know what I'm saying? Showed me, took me there. I've been around it. I know what it is. But in DC, and we respect that because we got cousins from the West. You know what I'm saying? But most DC niggas man, we don't give a fuck of what, I'm from Uptown, you from Southeast. I don't give a fuck what color you on. I will bust your goddamn brains open.
Yeah.
So most people in the West don't see it. Yeah, it's messed up because of that. But it's a little bit of more peace. Because where I'm from, we don't care about none of that.
Right.
It's just that you did something, and I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. So
to me, that seemed like more chaos. To me, just when you describing it seemed like more chaos.
Your city can be on see, that's what I'm saying. Probably back then, I don't even remember. Our city was on national TV one time called "City Under Siege" about Washington D.C. and the coke epidemic.
Was that when when the mayor got caught?
No. This is when Rayful was fucking the city up, and Mike Frey and all of the. No mind. It was just murders on top of murders. I remember walking in the alley one time in Adams Morgan. Adams Morgan now is Adams Morgan for the alphabet people now, kind of. Okay. As Dave Chappelle called it, if I'm not mistaken. No disrespect to them, because I got family. But back then, Adams Morgan was the area where people would go hide and smoke, whatever it is. Certain, because my parents did it. But I remember one time with my father walking at this specific school. Do you remember that school I showed you? And we used to sleep down there sometimes in the stairwell. But I remember walking to an alley outside of it, going down before you get to the school, and it was a body there. It was done. It was a corpse. But it was just, like I said, the desensitizing of my father's emotions of, you be all right. Like, that was one of his favorite slogans, and I'm like, yo, this is like, I done lost count, brother. You know what I mean? And I started realizing it too. A couple years ago, me and my brother, we was out and about. This when he had a red Hyundai, and we got shot at.
For no reason?
Because my cousin got out the car to take a piss, and somebody was like, yo, who that? And he was like, I'm just taking a piss. Who that? And they just pop, 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 pop. And my middle brother, he's a nonchalant, like, I don't care. But it was that moment I realized, like, yo, we grew up in some fucked up shit because we didn't even move. And the car got hit, and it got hit on my side.
God.
And none of us got hit, but it was the fact that, we went, we just pop, 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 and we heard the car like, yo, we got hit. And me and my brother just looked at each other. It's like, dang. And I drew when I went home that day, I was like, I need some therapy, bro.
That's that's exactly what I was thinking.
I've been going it. I actually have a therapist though, you know what I mean? But it was just realizing that, cause she, will always tell my wife, well, you need therapy, and I'm like, I really lived in that black taboo, like, black people don't need therapy. What the hell? Like, nah, we do. We do.
Straight up.
We do. Anybody doesn't. I'm saying you can be rich or poor, but what I'm saying as far as the classism of what we living in, a lot of us need therapy. And I don't really care about race for me, because I know some sick white people. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what color you are. Like, we just need that therapist.
Right.
You grew up in a lot, and that's the surprising thing too. Like, I got a lot of white people that grew up with us, and I be telling certain white folks, like, not everybody white person has a perspective of, there's no such thing as a white boy growing up in the rough areas. Like, oh no,
there is.
We got them.
Yeah.
We have them. I promise you. And it was just, I would never want to experience it again. I don't glorify it. I never really glorified it in my music. I always talked about it from a perspective of pain or learning, or I don't ever want to experience it again, but this is how it was. And I do give it out in a perspective of all angles, from the ego, from the masculine standpoint, from the child standpoint, from the boy standpoint, from the hurt standpoint, from the depression standpoint. That's why I told y'all from the beginning when y'all met me, I really live up to my rap name, because it's an acronym. Doe Cigapom is an acronym. Each letter stands for something, and I live up to every last one of those acronyms.
What's the acronym again?
Deliver on emotions. Can I get a peace of mind?
Okay.
So you may hear a song of me talking and I'm crying, because I really sometimes get dug into my music. Or you're gonna hear a song where you're like, oh, you trying to kill everybody. Well, I done been through some things.
Yeah.
have a lot of scars on me. Have a lot of, you know what I mean, emotional scars as well. But I have a lot of scars on me. And it's just, you know, hopefully it you know, it'll reach the masses. And if not, just let me spark somebody else to have that idea to go follow themselves and express themselves as well.
Yeah. You think the this is gonna sound crazy. Do you think the therapy is healing you but hurting your music?
No. I think the therapy for personal and as far as marriage counseling therapy, I think for personal, it helped me to express. Like I said, when I was first started rapping, I was rapping about pain. But I was that kid that played in go-go band, so there's some fun behind that. I was a kid, fortunately, not saying fortunately like it's bragging, but I was going to clubs by like 15, 16 years old, and then also playing in them. You know what I mean? I was literally like a baby. Like, I think my first club I went to play with my band, I was 13 years old. In a one way out.
Grown person club.
Nah, hood. In Southeast off MLK. And this is back then when Go-Go's was getting shot up. Or, you know, not us, the bands, but the people from repping each other hoods. And, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying, man. It was totally different, bruh. It was a different time, man. But I wouldn't trade it in for the world musically. I would trade a lot of things in that I had to like go through, but maybe it wouldn't. Maybe my music wouldn't be so effective. So I just try to learn how to take it with a grain of salt now.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked you that about the healing you part and hindering your music, because I feel like the best music come from pain, come from hurt. You know what I mean? And the music is like therapy. You know what I mean? And so I was thinking, if you going to have therapy and get that off of you, when you get in the booth, it ain't as poignant, you know what I mean? Or you don't really get to let all of your emotions out because you've already let it go in your therapy session, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Because I know how to take that back. Can we cuss?
Yeah.
I know how to say fuck you in 73,000 different angles. So if I can tell you that you hurt me, I can tell you that you hurt me, or I've hurt you in a lot of different ways. There's no difference. I mean, you know, disrespect. Jay-Z been having coke references in his music since the streets is watching. He don't do it no more now because he don't. You know what I mean? But sometimes he still do, and that's the thing. Like, he's learning how to say that in so many different ways. Like I said, I'm still in a healing process. I don't think you fully heal until you transition. To a certain degree. I don't think you're fully healed until you transition, because you're going to learn everything you need to learn. Now it's time for you to go to your next round and fix that. So I wouldn't say that you're going to be a person of wholeness, but your wholeness is your hurt and your pain, your yin and your yang, your ups and your downs, your left and your rights, your lights and your darks.
I disagree with that a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah, I disagree with that a little bit, because I feel like you can, those voids or those pains and those holes, I think you can at least like put it as a understanding, or okay, this is just something that happened, and versus not wearing that like this is who I am. You know what I mean? And so once you're able to start peeling off those layers of, yeah, this is some shit that happened to me, then you can kind of get back to semi, whole feeling, or, you know what I mean?
No, I get that. I guess not an analogy. Okay. I'll use you for an example. This is not you, but this is, okay. You, so say, you have learned how to literally turn the cheek when somebody slaps one side of your cheek, right?
I haven't learned that, but okay.
Exactly, right. But us as biblical terms too, in Christians, you supposed to turn the other cheek. Now, if I smack you and it may hurt, You may have a threshold, but that threshold is going to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's no difference. Okay, now I definitely know this. Whether you was with your Crip cousins, your blood cousins, or whoever your cousin was growing up with in L.A., you had that one cousin sometimes that just bother the fuck out you.
Mm-hmm.
Keep pinching on you or hitting you because you wasn't going to. And that day, Mr. Tate swung on his ass.
Mm-hmm. So
you're not, that's what I'm saying, you're not going to be completely ill till you transition because everybody has these trigger moments. I have trigger moments. I'm learning not to sit there and say everything that needs to be said when somebody say something to me because I'm not scared of nobody. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, I just don't. But I also learn how to just look at people like they stupid and just blink at them. Plain and simple. Because people, I guess that's an analogy that I have. You know, people, oh yeah, you're a teddy bear, but I'm still a bear. So you just lucky that this ain't hibernating season.
Yeah, you lucky I ain't hungry, motherfucker.
Bears, when it's time to hibernate, that's also their mating season. So and they very irrational. You know what I mean? So just be lucky. I don't know. Be blessed. But that's what I say. People have thresholds, and everybody's not going to necessarily be healed because when you're, I truly think when you're healing, you don't just hold everybody else accountable. You hold yourself. Something that I had to learn, and I'm still learning. Something that I'm learning now, even being married. Because I grew up in I don't need to hold myself accountable. You pissed me off. I had a ticking time bomb that I told your ass. Because I'm one of them type of people. Like, hey, you got 3 more times to fuck with me. And don't act like, oh, what's going on? Now he's acting crazy. You're like, I told you. If I told you something about something I don't like, I'm giving you warnings. I'm giving you warnings. But what people like to do, test the waters. Yeah. And I'd be a fool to say I've never tested anybody's waters. I've done it in probably in an abusive, offensive way, and also in a defense mechanism way. And I had to learn how to take accountability because the bullying one was, I'm not really a bully. I just know that you punk everybody else, but I'm gonna show you I still beat your ass. Or let me play victim so now I can fuck your ass up. And that's still wrong for both ways on my perspective because I'm approaching it from an unhealed
I'm like
manner.
that too though.
Yeah.
I'm like that too.
I'm approaching that from an unhealed manner to whereas I'm still, like I'm still learning it. I'm just learning how to really tell my emotions without being emotional. Because at one point mentally I wasn't capable of doing that. I've been in a psych ward and I've been in a lot of places. Like I said, I have a story behind the music. And I'm just in a healing process. I mean, right now I got kidney disease. You know what I'm saying? And that's the new trigger point for my music though now, because I'm still here to prove like there are gonna be days it's gonna seem like I don't have no energy on that stage, but I promise you I'm gonna out rap the hell out of all y'all on my mama. I don't care. Like even now, my wife used to say that back then. You should just walk around like you got it. And I'm like, nah, I'm just that. Like you said, I came in the room very humble, but I already know like wasn't too many people in there gonna fuck with me. Because I know what it took for me to learn how to really rap like this. Like, I know what it took for a child from D.C. that didn't grow up on this shit. Oh, yeah. And get respect from people from, like, New York or Jersey or... Yeah, I know what it took. So, when I meet people, especially, like I said, I have a thing for Southern people, like country-ass people, but can rap like they from up north. Oh, my God, I love it. With their Southern twang and all that. I love it, bro. I do. Yeah. I love it because I'm Northern, but because I'm under the Mason-Dixon line, I'm considered Southern. A lot of people from D.C. and Maryland ain't gonna want to accept that, but we are.
I don't see y'all as Southern.
Yeah, we under the Mason-Dixon line. Man, look, let me tell y'all something. People, even in the West and in the South, y'all think y'all the only motherfuckers that make soul food very good. And I got some people back home in D.C. and Maryland, and white people too, that make potato salad better than your auntie, bro. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. We are a northern Louisiana though, because we are definitely about seafood, because we got seafood up there in our water. So yeah, the only thing we don't really care about too much is the crawfish, but everything else that Louisiana get, we get.
Yeah, I feel like everything from
soul food. Oh man.
North Carolina on up, I feel like all that's East Coast, like Northeast. You know what I mean?
Nah, it's Maryland and down though. It's really Maryland and down. Even though like I said, most people from Maryland, because my mother is originally from Baltimore, and my father is from D.C.
Baltimore and Maryland like across the street from each other, right?
Baltimore and D.C. is like from Dallas to Arlington, so like 25 minutes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's two different worlds.
That's what I consider across the street.
It's two different worlds, two different accents.
From D.C. and Maryland?
No. PG County is, like I said, it's a part of Maryland, but it's on the border, literally a borderline of Washington, D.C. So it's certain parts of PG County where you can literally walk across the street and you can spit and literally be in D.C. Because that's the part I grew up in.
Okay.
So I grew up on the side of where literally, like, when my father had me, I was in Northeast. But at the same time, I can walk to Capitol Heights, probably like 10 minutes.
And you'll be in D.C.
And I'll be in Maryland.
Oh, you'll be in Maryland. Okay.
Yeah, but there's parts of Maryland literally where you can get to D.C. in seconds. Literally, like, right across the street. And it's a different world, but when you go to Baltimore, you, like, when Baltimore people come to D.C., I mean, they know what they're coming to D.C. for, but as far as culture-wise, it throws them off. Just like when we go to Baltimore, I don't get thrown off because, like I said, I got family up there, I got cousins, you know what I'm saying? At one point in time, me and my wife stayed up there for a couple months. But the accents, like, they like how we talk, I'm talking the way that I talk right now. But in Baltimore, it's like
I know they got a lot of twos
and yeah. Like the slangs for cigarettes back in the day used to be called fugs. I remember my cousins like, yo, let me get a fug, yeah. And or they do the yurt like jerseys, and I was like, oh boy, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, but I can adapt because, like I said, I have cousins that's from up there. You know what I mean? So I know chicken and mumbo sauce in D.C., but also a chicken box, what half and half is up in Baltimore, because I know the culture. So I got best of the both worlds, for real, being honest. And then also the fact that my father's side of the family is Dominican. So I had a lot of different cultures and worlds that I was exposed to too.
Yeah. Speaking of your father, have you forgave your mom and pops for shit they put you through?
Wow.
Have you forgave?
Wow. Yeah. And I'm still learning how to forgive more. Forgive more. My mom is still here. And yeah, about my 20s, mid-20s, late 20s, like I said, mentally when I was going through a lot of, I guess, I tried to kill myself a couple times. I gave my mother hell, emotionally. Because already at the teenage, I already knew, okay, she's at the place where she can't beat me. You know, if she does, this shit ain't gonna hurt. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna really fight her back because I don't want her to see how wild I really am. Because there's a lot of stuff that my family don't know I had to do. Only she knows. So, yeah, I gave her a lot of hell. It didn't matter what it was. I gave her everything that she was giving me. She was the first woman that broke my heart. She was the first woman that ever broke my heart. I knew she wasn't kind all the time as a mother, but she was my mom. And I wouldn't let that love go until she broke my heart one day. And it was right after my father died. She started expressing words and calling me things that I had never been experienced by a woman. And then I knew from then she was taking out the pain from my father on me. I have his name and his birthday. So spiritually, I knew she was trying to pay him back, but it was being paid back on me. So I was paying for it.
You realized that in the moment, or
I realized
years
that.
later?
I realized that the day he died. But I also realized that through her family, like her father, her brothers. I realized that around like 6 or 7 years old. They didn't like me because of my father. And I knew one day I'm going to get older. And it was that, as they call it, that Virgo vengeance in us. I'm going to get your ass back one day. And it's no difference of me telling me and my middle brother are like this now. But he'll tell you, I've told him that for years. I'm going to get you back one day. And I ain't going to be this little short, fat motherfucker forever.
God damn.
And when I got that right age, I tested every last one of them. My middle brother know not to play with me. But I know not to, like, he's crazy as hell too. But I'm just, because of what I've been through, is like, I don't like fighting because I got to see blood and all that. I got to know you weaked out. Like, that's how bad it was, like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, with my mom, yeah, I didn't care. You pissed me, fuck you, bitch. Give a fuck. Because if you can call me that quick too, I'm going to call you that too.
Damn.
So it was just like that. And seeing the flaws in her, of her not wanting to show emotion. My mom stopped giving me kisses at 6 years old. So now that we're close, you know, I'm learning to try to do that for her. You know, and it still feel weird a little. Because when I wanted it then, all the way up to about 20-something, you wouldn't. And then now you want them, and I'm like, the fuck? But therapy. Because sometimes your family members, sometimes your wife, sometimes your people will project their feelings on you and make you feel that way. And that shit don't got nothing to do with me. At the end of the day, that's how I had to look at it. My mom at one time was an addict. She grew up in a suburban lifestyle. My father grew up in the real city lifestyle. Most suburban girls like city rough boys, as you know. Don't matter where you from Cali to Florida to most of them like them. My wife's from Puerto Rico, but grew up city and suburb. I'm city. But the only difference is I have common sense. I've always knew that, even in the streets. I'm like, yeah, I'll pop you if I do whatever I have to do to make sure I go home. But I got common sense to not just put myself in stuff no more.
Yeah.
There was a time where she wouldn't let me out because something was about to pop. It followed me. But I also think that was that negative energy that I had around me that I couldn't let go. I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to let go in my music. But therapy, I think, gave me the chance to, like I said, just let me start rapping more about having the fun that I was having, whether it was in the club or whether it's, I'm married now, but yes, have I had a menage? Yeah, I can rap about it. Because it's all about the expression and my experiences and my life. But that, you know, a lot of people get caught up in what you rap about now is where you at now. And Kendrick Lamar just dropped the album right now and gave you everything for his perspective from the last 1,300 something days, he said. But he gave it to you in about 17 tracks, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why can I not?
Yeah. And see, I wouldn't have never known this about you just listening to your music, because I only heard 2 songs, right? Well, I think I heard more than 2, but there's 2 that I really like. I forget the names of them, but the first one you played, it seems like it's upbeat, or at least the beat is, you know what I mean? So it gets you in the upbeat mood, and then the way how you rapping on it, it doesn't.
I think it was like a West Coast beat.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he was talking about Piece of the Pie. It's called Piece of the Pie. Yeah. And
so it doesn't seem as dark as your story really is, and I don't know if that's due to therapy, and that's good. That's great.
That song, I can even explain it. That song was really about the ego. Fuck anybody whoever ain't fucking with me. I've been a real nigga since day one. I raised sons like a father, but never bother these sucker niggas. I got them. See these niggas falling down like they sniffing a coke slaughter. My city's Washington, D.C. I got them at a mumbo sauce eating a 3-piece. Need a piece or even Jesus piece like you run the city of Harlem. Cause Lord knows these bullets like Twitter, they gon' follow. Putting a loud pack in the ear, so many flavors you thinking that it's Cali out here. I'm from the district, we done with chucks of ballies out here, but I'm from the city, we robbing niggas alleys out here. I'm on the verge to get it and get more. Like Doe Ciga is riding his track like a 6'4". I'm not from DC, but I'm giving you I'm not from Cali, but I'm giving you so many.
Yeah.
Chevy Impala, you know that the flow's hotter. I'm just putting myself in position, nigga, because I'm up.
Yeah. 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 And that's why I said, well, at least it was refreshing to me because the music was so West Coast. It felt like, yeah, this shit just feel good. You know what I mean? And I think that's what mostly West Coast music is, in as a general, just upbeat.
Well, when I grew,
it's just upbeat.
Well, I'm giving you,
and it may have some killing and shit going on in the lyrics.
I don't really want to glorify that. Okay, if I represent DC, I mean musically, DC is like, it's kind of like the hidden jewel of Egypt.
What you mean by that?
Because DC folks, we grew up on man, we grew up on MC8 and Cool Cat and E40, Mac Main. We grew up on the Romper Room, the Romper Boys and all of them out there in Oakland. Mac Dre and all, you know, we grew up on Scarface and Face Mob, and we also grew up on the Outlaws, like, but also people fail to forget musically, like that's the home of Marvin Gaye. Musically, this is one of the homes where George Clinton made his name. Jazz wise, if you know about Duke Ellington, if you like, DC is music. It's just that we're only publicized for go-go. That's it. So when people say, what do I represent music? I try to represent everything I grew up on. And I'm just rapping it from my DC perspective. I don't care if it's a West Coast track. Like, y'all might fuck around and hit me on some bachata Dominican music later, like, and I'm gonna talk about what I went through or what I'm experiencing in at that moment. Like, it doesn't matter. I grew up loving music, and I said that in that room that day. My parents, because they was drug addicts, they gave me the best music in the world. That's what I'll say thank you for. Not, I mean, a lot more than that, but musically, yeah, they was, man, my parents, my father's a hood dude from Southeast. Like, what? Meatloaf, Led Zeppelin, who? But a lot of people in his generation, they grew up in like, yo, yeah, I live in a hood environment where we shoot out every day, and you see people, you know, stuck in the alley with needles and all, but I got a chance to understand the song Stairway to Heaven, reason why that was his favorite song. You know what I mean? Like, my father had actually friends that was musicians. I used to tell my wife too, there was a guy we used to go visit way down in southern Maryland in the beach area, and he'll play the Stairway to Heaven. You know, they, you know, get their head right with whatever that was on the table. 'Cause I smoke weed and I know what that was. That wasn't. But the dude would play Stairway to Heaven on the guitar all night for hours. Hours and hours and hours, bro. And I mean, every note would not miss it. So, like I said, I grew up on rock and roll. My wife would tell you, like the Led Zeppelin is kind of one of my favorite bands. Oh yeah. Yeah. Led Zeppelin, man. If you ever heard the song called "The Ocean," that's my motherfucking song. The
Ocean.
Bro. Oh my God, bro. Okay. Just the down. Oh my God. It just. But I mean, I listen to songs from like Billy Joel. Like I said, I listen all I used to listen to Travis Tritt, country music. Yeah, I used to listen to Travis Tritt. Like musically, I'm eclectic, but you know, I'm kind of interested in what I would write about now that I haven't wrote in a long time. I have wrote, but since moving, because like I said, I got back here in January, but my last song I recorded was like in December. Okay. But I have so much music that's unreleased, but I'm kind of interested now. Because I have a couple songs unreleased where I'm rapping about the experiences of darkness of dealing with kidney disease too. and it's coming from a very hood perspective too. But yeah, I'm trying to utilize everything around me when it comes to my music.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a different angle too, because I never hear nobody talking about kidney diseases or, you know what I mean? Yeah, that'll be. I'm interested to hear what your new music sound like too now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to hear what your take on or your voice on a rock and roll song would sound like. You know what I mean? To mix the two genres together, like do a little mashup. I would love to hear what that would sound like.
That'll probably be me singing for real.
Really?
Probably so.
You sing too?
Mm-hmm.
Shit,
I can't sing. I mean, I can sing, but am I going to do like Beyonce notes like I used to?
No.
But I'm still there, but not like Beyonce. But you know what I mean? As far as holding my own, yeah, definitely. I was a lead singer in the choir growing up. That's what I'm saying. Everything was music. I learned how to play drums by watching the drummer at church play this one beat to one song, because they would play that. They would play different songs, but he'll play different beats, but he'll just play this one beat to certain songs, and I would just sit there and watch him, like just watch him, to the point my mom used to think I was asleep, and I'm like, I'm not. I'm watching his foot do this every day, that same tempo, and then after that next week learn on a hi-hat. I'm like, okay, that's it. Oh, I got the beat. Mom, I want a drum set. No, for real, that's exactly how it happened. God. Exactly. And I didn't get that drum set until probably 5 years later, because that was after my father passed. That's when she was able to give me the drum set. But I got that the minute I got that drum set and I picked them sticks up, I started singing the song, "The Jesus is the Rock," and playing that beat. And after that, my brother was like, "Oh shit, this little motherfucker can really." Yeah. Same thing with the congos. My drummer for the go-go band taught me one beat, and then a couple weeks later, he brought the instruments to the house and was like, "I want you to learn this beat, this beat, this beat." In 2 weeks, I just started listening to my favorite players that play go-go. And
do you produce your own music too, or
I would love to. I like when some more money comes in. My wife told me she would, help me get some more like product, because I would love to see what my drum patterns are like. Because that's all I love is if you listen to my music, you hear drums. Mm-hmm. Even my soft pattern drums are still hitting hard. Like, it's something about the drums. And that's kind of like, it sounds crazy. That's why I kind of like don't play with live bands. You
don't? I would think somebody like you would love to.
Like my music, the way I hear it, that it gotta sound that way. If I made music with a live band, then I want my music with that live band. Like, say we came up something original with that live band, because that sound was already originated from my feelings from that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my music comes from my feelings.
So you wouldn't have a band like the Roots behind you, or
if it don't
1500 or nothing behind you.
Ooh, why would you do that?
Yeah, because I'm just saying.
So you study some things. Yeah. Okay, respect. Yeah. Being honest, if it don't feel right to me, no. Because I play those instruments.
Yeah, respect.
It's kind of like, when people do see this, and my folks from Dallas, Arlington, Agtown, and Fort Worth, Funky Town, like, I love y'all, but stop calling me and saying, "Yo, I got the perfect beat for you." Because when it, I'm like,
this ain't the perfect one.
Oh, man. And I'm going to be on, do you know how many features I have done? I did it because just on the GP of promotion of my name, or because that's my homie and I love him, or, you know what I'm saying? But I was just like, yeah, this time around, I got to be like, yeah, bro. And I've done it. My wife would tell you, I've done features. Like, I got features on Spotify I didn't even know that was on there, like, of songs. I'm like, I did that. Mm-hmm. Oh, whoa. Like, yeah, I do. I hate it. I hate when people call me, like, except for certain rappers. Except for certain rappers, because they already know. I think they had enough respect to study me enough to know, like, yeah, he gonna have to get hit hard with this one. Like, yeah, you can't be, you know what I'm saying, yo, I got the perfect beat for you to kill. And I'm like, all right, so I think I'm about to get in my hip hop bag, and you want me sitting here and talking about the growth of chlorophyll and flowers and shit. Like, I can put it in a way to make it sound good, but come on, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I do like being tested. And I don't think
Lyrically, right?
Lyrically and sound wise, I only have one producer that's took me out of that world where I'm not afraid to be tested, and I will always give him respect for that, which is my old homie AB the Pro, that produced a lot of my music that's coming out. But I'm working with a lot of producers now outside of DC because it's just time.
Yeah.
Outside of that though, he definitely made me jump into that creative place where everything don't got to be hip hop, but you can still do hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because once I got into that rapping, I became a yo boy. Like, yo, I'm trying metaphors, similes, hyperboles, this shit out, like, and not knowing. Like I said, Kendrick Lamar's album, the first project I done heard where he's not really using no metaphors, similes, like, he's just telling you his feelings, and he's killing it.
Yeah.
So I learned that. Yeah, that's just.
You know what I would love to hear you on, and this is just my own personal flavor of music that I like, especially with MCs, where they rapping and they have a lady on there singing the hook or something like that.
Oh, I thought you about to say lady rap. Yeah, because I will manifest that. I want to work with Rhapsody. Red Rhapsody. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
There's another woman. She just got put on a track with Toby Nwigwe, and she's from my hometown. Mumu Mia.
What's her name?
Mumu Fresh. I forgot her name. Mumu Mia Fresh or something like that. I think my wife would probably look it up.
Okay.
But she's from our area. She can sing and she raps. Oh man, can she sing?
Okay. I love that. That's just my favorite flavor from hip hop. You know what I mean? From just me personally, because I like the hip hop, shit. But I like Mumu Fresh.
Yeah,
But I like it. I like it when dudes could still bring the lyrics, but have that balance of the woman on there singing, or you know what I mean. I love that shit.
I mean,
I like that.
Rappers been singing and rapping for years. If you even go back to Georgie Puddin' Pie with MC Lyte, that was somebody singing, and she was rapping the hook out. But people got criticized and ridiculed, like Ja Rule and 50 for singing and rapping. Like, singing and rapping has been around, bruh, since Public Enemy days.
Not the rappers singing and rapping. Like, the only person who my own personal opinion, who I feel like did it the best, even better than Ja Rule, is Drake. That's the only person as far as rappers singing and rapping. But I'm talking about where the rapper is doing the rap lyrics and you have the girl singing the hooks. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's just my own personal. I would say something like I'm just throwing out an example. The Kelly and Nelly record. What is
okay,
this?
no matter what I do or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Something similar to that, or like a Jennifer Lopez and Ja Rule type. You know what I mean? Where they still giving you bars, they still doing their thing, but you got a mixture of a girl and a guy on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the vein that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
See okay. I could take that. And back then, yeah, that was back in the big jerseys and the chicken head days. So yeah, now if it had to be me, I'll say the last person that really did it with me was the Compton album. When
You had an album called Compton?
Dre do.
Oh, Dre. Oh,
The Compton album.
I was saying, you got an album called Compton?
It's a song called The Doctor's Orders. Yeah, and the girl is singing The Doctor's Orders. Go kill yourself. Take 2 of these up in the morning. Go kill yourself. Doctor's orders. Yeah. Now you got to check it out though.
Okay.
If you haven't heard the Compton album, boy. Whew.
I had it, but I did listen to it. I remember listening to it once, and it just didn't stick with me.
Nah, you gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta really listen to it.
Yeah.
Anderson .Paak and all them brothers, they went off on it. That's one of my favorite albums.
Okay.
In that time, that was like 2018. So
Okay.
yeah. But I mean.
This is my personal.
No.
flavor.
That's what I like about music. Everything is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's the greatest. I wouldn't want to live in a world where I just wouldn't want to live in a world where or say that he has a favorite band and literally the rest of the world like that band. That's where's the originality of like, who do you like this? Like, so you mean to tell me everybody like this one sound of rock and roll or country music or rap? Oh my God. It's kind of like, even myself, I had to follow like everybody. That you can't never say that you didn't grow up and walk in the same high school with a pair of Jordans that somebody else had on.
Yeah.
And that shit used to blow me.
Mm-hmm.
Like badly, because where I was growing up at, like I was the fat kid with fresh. Like I'm gonna have them joints before I even walk into school tomorrow, because my homie gonna let me get them the day before or something. But it's like, oh, now he got them and he got them, and you know what? I'm gonna put these back. And my wife would tell you now, I still got shoes that I won't wear, and people done forgot about that era. And I still got them. And when I wear them, like, oh, man, they came back out. No, I had these from high school, bro.
God.
Like, my shoe has been a size 9 since high school, bro, 9.5 or something like, like, sorry. And even that was kind of one of the reasons why back then I got into, like, creating shoes or redoing shoes. Like, we used to buy certain Nike shoes, foam posits, and paint them different colors or the clothes and stuff, because we just... Where we from, we hate looking like somebody.
Do you still make clothes right now? Do you still do that?
I'm going to say I'm not doing them at this moment, but do I still have my materials and everything to do everything? Yeah. And I will be, yes. And
you know how to sew, or are you doing like
I'm
a hot press?
Fabric paint artist.
Okay.
And I'll show you some examples before we leave.
Okay.
I just designed the shirts, clothes, jackets, jean jackets. I done it all. I done painted on bras and panties and boxers and robes and it's fabric art paint, and it don't come off or anything, but it's a style, one of the styles that we have back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up, man. Man, leave your social, man, so people, if they want to shoot you some beats or get a hold of you.
Social, you can get at me on Instagram for Doe Cigapom, DoeCigapom. You can also follow me there on Twitter. I don't use it no more, but Facebook as well, Doe Cigapom. But mostly I'm more active on Instagram. For, like I said, DoeCigapom. If you want to reach any of my websites, you can go to www.doecigapom.bandcamp.com, or you can just go to doecigapom.com. You can pick up all of my projects on Bandcamp. You can listen to them for free before the purchase, and on the website you would just purchase.
That's what's up, man. When is the next project, or when was the last project? Let me ask that first.
The last project came out in October of 21. It just came out.
Okay.
The Commencement EP, produced by AB the Pro, or Alim Bilal as they call him. Then we're going to be doing. I'm preparing. The artwork now for the Aboriginals, like Aboriginals, but it's AB the Pro, Abdo for Aboriginals, Aboriginals, and then we'll be doing another small EP called ABDC, like ACDC, the rock group. So that's another little hidden gem. Showing people that I like rock and roll, but even though this is rap. So yeah, we're doing one called ABDC for AB the Pro, Doe Cigapom. And then after that, probably by close to the end of this year, I'm gonna talk more so to my wife and the other producer, Campion Bond. He was there at the last aux one. I got a project, some good music that I've been performing lately, coming with him.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And when can I expect that? Early this year, top of the year? I mean, third, fourth quarter?
Probably the originals. We're thinking about summer or probably fall.
Okay.
Hopefully, if not, whenever God sees fit. But yeah, man, it's coming. I'm gonna try to release all of this. I'm not gonna be one of those artists, whether I get famous or not, or whatever they call it, notoriety. I'm gonna make sure that I release all my music before I leave this earth. I can't take it to the casket with me.
That's what's up, man.
So it's coming though. Just learning how a better way to market and promote myself and how to release more better music.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yo, Doe Cigapom, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure,
Thank
brother.
you, man. Appreciate
honor and a
it.
pleasure, man. Yo, man, this has been the Tap In Podcast. Thank y'all for tapping in. We out.
Peace.